That, of course, is the subject of a new documentary that is airing at film festivals all across the country. It is called Copwatch, where they are encouraging people to actually videotape situations where they come into contact with police. I recently had a conversation with the director of the film. Here's our discussion.
You can video all you want from over there.
I'm right here on my stoop. Y'all do what y'all gotta do. Don't worry about me.
Something's wrong with him.
I can't breathe. Me and Eric were talking about going out that weekend, and a fight broke out right next to us, and Eric jumped up and broke it up, and as he's breaking it up, the cops was pulling up on the scene, and they jumped out and they attacked Eric. Like, immediately they went on and started trying to arrest him and handcuffed him, and Eric was going back and forth with them, telling them that, why are you locking me up, and things like that. And I mean, it was clear that it wasn't the first time he had an interaction with these police. So I pulled out my phone.
Why did you start this? I remember in the 1980s, there was a group in California that actually did this. 2020 or Nightline, one of those shows, did something on them. And so we've seen folks do this for quite some time. But why did you start this?
Well, a guy came to St. Louis back in 2014 after Mike Brown was killed. And, you know, when he came and started talking about Copwatch and, you know, and just talking about the history of Copwatch, and I said, you know, I want to do this out here in St. Louis. I want to help be that instrument to, like, help, you know, not just educate the community, but, you know, showing it how it's done. Because I had been watching the cops like my whole life since I was coming up. We were taught to, you know, keep your eyes on the police because they don't always be, you know, telling the truth, you know. So this was just like a no-brainer for me. And then, you know, the only thing I was lacking was having a camera. The camera is very important in educating people the importance of not just video recording, but knowing actually how that video can be used as evidence, and also the importance of not putting this stuff on social media so quick.
And Camila, in doing this documentary, what did you learn the most when it came to this organization, and really how intense this issue is when it comes to police, many of them who despise being recorded?
Yeah, I mean, I think coming from the UK, I think, you know, when I arrived in the US, obviously I saw the relationship with the police is actually very different. So I learned a huge amount while I was filming, and I also learned a huge amount from David, from Jacob, from Kevin, from Ramsey. Essentially, I think the thing that really kind of stood with me was essentially kind of how hard it is to kind of go out every day trying to kind of support each other, think about the person next to you, and just really kind of try to make sure that you're making a difference. And I think, you know, having traveled to a lot of the communities that have suffered from, you know, these officer-involved shootings, you know, there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of trauma. You see the headlines, these big news events, but, you know, people are living in these homes from right outside their door. People have been shot, friends, family members. So it's really just trying to start to understand a little bit of that trauma that is just kind of so devastating to see.
And when we talk about with We Copwatch, first of all, how many people do you have out there who are recording? Do you have, or you're just relying on individual citizens, or do you have an organized group?
So I would say there's a network of people, but there's the idea of a group is a thing that's so. It tends to create the wrong type of energy. So what we constantly do is there's definitely a lot of people that's a part of that network, and we all know each other and we communicate with each other. But there's no leader, so there's no heads and there's no tails. You know, everybody's contribution comes at whatever level it is, and then that's just what this is. It's just a consciousness, you know, to raise a consciousness that this is something that we need to pay attention to, and that this is all of our job.
And Camila, what do you hope people will get out of this? Are you hoping that there are other cities will pick up on this and start their own initiative?
Yeah, well, I think as David said, there are, Copwatch is kind of known about in so many cities across the US and around the world. And actually, it's very kind of autonomous. So people start up their own groups. They may share ideas and talk to each other, but there's no kind of, it's not a kind of a defined organization in that sense. So, yeah, I mean, I think on a basic level, I think, filming the police creates another narrative that can be very important in specific incidents. And certain incidents where perhaps that person wouldn't have had a voice in the past. So I think that's critical. And I think on a bigger level, on a more simple level, it's just the idea of simply looking out for somebody else, whether you have a camera or not, not walking past when something's happening. Whoever you are, wherever you've grown up, whatever your privilege, you can look out for somebody else. So just stop and take a minute. That's kind of the bigger message of the film.
All right, then, Camelia, we surely appreciate it. David, thanks a lot, man, and certainly good luck with what you're doing.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh, my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no.
That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.